Hello, namaste, salam alaikum, sat sri akal. Welcome to the journey to excellence. And in the series, continuing with adding power to Excel, another interesting video. And what we are talking about in this video is we look at scenarios which are very common scenarios where we want to extract data from different workbooks, different worksheets based on certain matching criterias, or even use them in some calculation, some generation of data. So the most important thing what we are looking at is the lookup functions, what we are going to talk about today. So what are we going to discuss is understand certain lookup functions, where we will see the VLOOKUP, the most commonly used and the most powerful tool till date. But yes, with the new XLOOKUP function, this is becoming a little bit more complicated. This is becoming a little bit obsolete. We will look at a scenario for HLOOKUP as well. We'll see where to use these, application of both VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. There are certain limitations in VLOOKUP. We will see how to overcome those limitations. We'll then understand how has the XLOOKUP function replace or might be used in place of the VLOOKUP function. So we'll also see the differences between VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP put together versus the XLOOKUP function. So without much delay, let's start looking at what we are going to do today. So to explain the concept first, as my endeavor has always been to explain the concept first and understand how to use these things so that we are very clear with certain things. So the first thing what we are going to do is we'll understand the VLOOKUP function, the process, how to use it, what are the parameters, and what are the things we have to keep in mind while we are using the VLOOKUP function. Now here is a scenario what we are looking at, and one more thing which I would also like to put across here is, in maximum cases we use VLOOKUP. Yes, there are cases where we might have to use HLOOKUP, because VLOOKUP stands for vertical lookup. Vertical lookup means that we are going to extract values from columns, because the data is always set as columns. That is, our properties of any data in terms of, like, for example, if we are talking about invoices, so your invoice number, customer name, invoice amount, all these things are put as columns. So that is why we are using VLOOKUP most of the time. Very rare cases we might have these properties like invoice number, invoice date, invoice amount as the row heading and the data is below that. So we'll see how do we use that. So the first thing, let's take a scenario here. What I have is, there is some data. What we have here is we have some SM, source of contact, like SM, OT, IS, SM, IS, whatever. And what we want is in another column, that is the description column. What we want a full form of these words, like SM stands for social media, IS stands for search, internet search, and OT stands for others. So what we want to do is we want to get these values from this source, which I would call it as the master source. This is the master source where unique values are there, and we want to extract the matching data from this particular area. Now this can be another sheet. The scenario can be, you have a particular customer and you want to, or you have particular invoice with a customer code. You want to extract maybe the credit days, maybe you want to extract the VAT ID or tax ID, whatever you want to extract from the master data of the customer in the invoice master sheet. So in that case we will use VLOOKUP function. Now here what we are looking at is, we have this data and what we want is these values like social media, internet search, other, based on the source of contact which is given here. So we will use the VLOOKUP function, and we'll follow the same process. So we'll go into lookup and reference, and we'll go to VLOOKUP. So how many parameters? Please put in the comment box. From the earlier videos, we have seen how to understand functions, and we can understand how many parameters are there in this function. If you have not seen that video, you can see that video also, understanding formulas and functions. So we have 4 parameters, and out of these 4 parameters, 3 of the parameters are mandatory parameters. That is, we need to give a value for these 3 parameters. So what is the first parameter? First parameter is lookup value. That is, what is the value we are going to look up for? That is, what is the value we are searching for? So in our case, currently we are searching for the source of contact, that is a value in cell B3. Then we talk about table array. Now this table array is your master data. That is, where is your master data or the master information related to this source of contact? So master information is given, in this case it is there at the bottom itself. Here what we need to understand is that is a table array. Table array is a master information, that is where it is, and it is a set of data. It is a set of columns, it is a set of rows which are there. So it creates an array for us, where we are trying to mention that, okay, my data is from B10 to C13. Now why have I selected B10 to C13 in this case is because source of contact is in column B and description is in column C, that is the related value which we want to extract. So your related value might be in some other column, you might have some other columns in between. Like, I'll just try to simulate it. Just give, like for example, I will just copy this as well, and I will shift this here and copy this here and paste it. Now what I have is a scenario where we have the data, that is a master data, in these 3 columns, but the value what we want to extract is in the third, or you can say column D. But so if we go to lookup functions, VLOOKUP, so we are looking for SM, and the table array in this case will start from your B to T. Now why am I selecting B, why I am not selecting A, is VLOOKUP function has this limitation that it always searches a value in the table array in the first column of the table array. What I mean to say is, if I would have selected from column A where we might have had something, or here in this case we don't have anything, my VLOOKUP function or our VLOOKUP function would not return any value, because VLOOKUP looks for a value in the first column of the table array. So that is the reason we selected from B. Then comes column index, that is, in this table array, from which column do I want to return a value. In this case, my question in the comment box, please tell me whether it will be 4 or whether it will be 3. This will be 3 in this case. Now some of us might say that it is 4 because your description column is in column D. No, the reason is A, B, C, D is yes, the 4th column, agreed, but then in the table array, we started from B and the value what we are taking it from is D. That means in the table array you are extracting the value from column D. So that is the reason we are taking 3 here. So in this case, source of contact becomes 1. I'll just redo the function. Lookup value, table array, and column index. So source of contact becomes 1, discount rate becomes 2, and description becomes, so description becomes 3. So that is the reason we are giving 3 here. And the range lookup, now this is an optional parameter. As you can see, it is not highlighted, but it is an optional parameter. Optional parameter is, that is, if we give, it's okay. If we don't give, it's okay. But then if we don't give, Excel considers it as true. That means it assumes that your data in the master is sorted as per ascending order. I'm repeating, it assumes. If you use true, instead of true you can type 1 also, but if you use true, that is, if you don't give anything, Excel assumes it to be true, and it also assumes that your data in the table array, the first column, that is the master column, is arranged in an ascending order. 0 means false. That means it is, or false means it is, looks for an exact match. That is, if I am looking for SM, it will look for SM. If it is SM with a space, it will look for SM with a space. So most of the cases we use 0. After this we will also see where do we use 1, in what scenarios do we use 1, and we click on OK. Now you can put in the comment box, will it be okay to do OK now, or do I need to do something? I will press F4 and I will make my table array fixed, so that when I copy the formula, please again, cell referencing and naming ranges, please refer to that cell referencing video, refer to that, where we are talking about fixed and mixed referencing. So we are fixing our master table array here. So we click on OK and we copy the VLOOKUP function, or we copy the function to the next set of rows, and we get the values. Clear? So VLOOKUP function parameters, let's understand it once again. A quick recap. So what we are talking about, VLOOKUP, the first parameter is the lookup value, that is the value what you are looking for. The second parameter is the table array, where you are looking for that value, that is the master data. Only thing in consideration, one thing in consideration very important, is the value what you are looking for in the table array should be in the first column of the table array. Then the next parameter is from which column in the table array do you want to return the value. So in this case it was 3. And then the final thing is true or false, that is the range lookup parameter. So if you want it to be an exact match, where most of the cases we use as an exact match, is 0, that is false. Otherwise, if we don't give, Excel takes it as true, considers it as true, assuming that the master data, the first column of the table array, will be in an ascending order. Now let's look at a variation in this, where we will use the true parameter. Now there is another column here that is called as a discount rate, and in the discount rate what we have done is we decide that okay, based on the price agreed, we want to give a discount percentage. That is, if the price agreed is 500, we give a discount of 2.5%. If price agreed is, that is, if the price is more than 500, less than 1000, we give a discount of 2.5%. More than 1000, less than 5000, we give a discount of 5%. More than 5000, less than 25,000, we give a discount of 7.5%, and above 25,000 we give a discount of 8%. But if you look at the values are not exactly matching 5,000, 1,000, 5,000, sorry 500, 1,000, 5,000 and 25,000. We have values ranging from 8,600, 1,400. So when we are doing this type of a scenario, it is not possible to put all the values in our master data. So what do? We see how do we do the VLOOKUP function. So we go to VLOOKUP. What is the value we are looking for? We are looking for the price agreed, that is D3 in this case. The table array is price agreed and the discount rate, and I will fix it. Column index number in this case, please put in the comment box. So I will put 2, and range lookup, this time we will use true. Now why am I using true is because our values are the data what we have has a variety of values which do not match exactly. So what we do is we say true, that is an approximate match based on the price agreed bands what we have given. Like I have given 500, then 1000. So the pattern should be the lowest value because it has to be in ascending order, and then I'll show you how it will change. So I will do this and I will copy, and we get the result here. So if you see here, 8690 is getting a discount of 7.5%. So 8690 is above 5000, less than 25,000. And if we see a value of 25,000 is exactly matching 25,000, and we get 8%. Now why it is important to keep in a ascending order? Because that is a requirement. So if I just show you something, I'll just sort the data, and I will sort the data based on price agreed, and I will make it largest to smallest. Now if we see the result here, we don't get this. So it is a prerequisite for the data to be sorted in ascending order so that VLOOKUP function performs. Another thing is, I'll just quickly go through the HLOOKUP function. So in the VLOOKUP is vertical lookup. We are looking for the values which are there vertically. Now what we are looking for are values, that is our master data has values, you can say the main value, the parameter is in the first row and the details are below it. So what we are doing here is we want to extract social media, internet search and others, but their master information is in the top row. So what we do is we use HLOOKUP here. So we go to lookup, HLOOKUP, lookup value is, just 1 minute. So lookup and reference, we go to HLOOKUP, lookup value is this, table array is at the bottom. I'll fix this as well. Like VLOOKUP looks for the value in the first column, HLOOKUP looks for the value in the first row, and we want to return the value from the second row. And here also the range lookup parameters are 0 and 1, that is true and false. If you don't use it, true is considered and it assumes your data is matching. Click on OK and we just copy it and we get this. So this was HLOOKUP and VLOOKUP. Now let's build up on this and just have a look at certain limitations what we have. I have a file here, another file where I have some employee master information which is given to us with their basic salaries, HRA, communication allowance and all the other information. We get the attendance of these people for the month of January, and what we want here is, what we want to do here is we want to get the names of the people, based on the employee code, the name of the person, the basic salary, HRA, communication allowance, travel allowance and total. How do we get it? Name. Can we get name? No. The reason is employee code in the employee master is the second column, but the name is in the first column. So one option is we interchange. That is, we bring our employee code in the first column and bring name in the second column. As of now, I am not doing it. The reason is I want to show you how we can break this limitation. Then we come to the Jan attendance again. Now we want the basic salary, HRA allowance, HRA, communication allowance and travel allowance based on this. Now here it looks very simple, isn't it? we can type here. So it's very simple. We'll go to our formulas tab. Very happily we'll go to our lookup and reference, VLOOKUP. We are looking for the value employee code. Where is this value? This value is in employee master, and we'll have to make sure we select from column B. If we select from name, we will not be able to get the data output. Okay, in the comment box, please tell me in the table array I am getting something called as master data. So in the comment box, please tell me why am I getting this, what is this master data. Then column index. Now I don't remember the column index, so what I will do for the time being is I will come here and I will see where is my basic starting from employee code. So 1 2 3 4 5. So basic is in column number 5, and I say exact match 0, and we just copy it. Great. But is it a one-time formula? It is not a one-time function, as I have always been stressing, or as in my all the videos I stress on that to be more effective, because if I copy it to the next column, I still get the basic salary, I don't get the HRA. So one option is we say, okay, we have learned it by heart, so after basic it is HRA, so we'll just change 5 to 6 and 6 to 7. This is a tip what I am giving you, that is a manual work, and 7 to 8. Okay, we got it, but it doesn't look that great to me. The reason is here we are talking about 1 2 3 4 columns, so we can remember the sequence. But what about a situation where we have multiple columns and we have to get multiple column output into another sheet? One thing is remembering the column sequence, other thing column names and the column sequence. Other thing is, I'm just taking another case here, for example Feb attendance. Now in Feb attendance, if you see, basic is there, but after basic it is communication allowance. But in the master sheet, communication allowance, between basic and communication allowance we have an HRA. So now is the time where we are breaking this. What we are going to do here is we are making it more robust. So what we will do, in one of the earlier videos I had discussed about nesting of functions, that is where we can give a function inside a function. Now what we are going to talk about here is there is a function under the lookup category called as a match function. Now this match function, what does it do? It gives you, it will search a value and gives the position of that value in the array. Let's look at it first. So I'll go to lookup and reference, match, and I say I want to lookup value is D3, that is basic. Lookup array in the employee master, I will not take the name, I will take from employee, because if I take the name then the sequence will change. So I will take from employee name. It will match, it has to match the table array, what will be my master table array, and I can keep this fixed. And match type, again this is 0 or 1, exact match, or so I will keep it exact match, and you see it gives you 5 7 6 8. Got it? So now we have the match function, and what I can do here is I can simply use my lookup. I can use a VLOOKUP value, lookup value, table array. I'm giving you a hint to get it in the comment box, column index. Now instead of column index number, I will select the cell address here, that is D2, and in the range lookup 0, and I click on OK, and I copy it. Sorry, I did not fix my column, and now I will copy it. Once I copy it, I can copy this whole thing down, and we get all the what has gone wrong here. In the comment box, I did not fix the row. So my row number is changing, so I'll just change it here and I get it quickly. So now this is a one-time formula. Fair enough, it's easy, little bit of thinking. Now using the concept of nesting of functions, what we had discussed in the earlier videos. If you have not seen that video on nesting functions, kindly go ahead and see that video. And then what I will do is D2 is a value what I am picking up for my column index, and this is a result of a match function. So what I will do is in my VLOOKUP itself, I can replace D2 with match this column, and I will say because I will have to use it for other columns as well, and rows I don't want to change, comma, employee master, and this remains fixed, F4, and then I put a 0, close this, and this. I still get the same output. So concept of nesting function we have covered, and we have seen how we can use that concept. Now let us come to another aspect where what we want to do is we want to get the name of a person, but in my master sheet, name is the first column, employee code is the second column, and VLOOKUP function has that limitation that it will look for a value in the first column, but here I have the first column here. So one thing is we might have to change the structure, which you might not be in a position to change the structure because that is not allowed, or that is the structure what is being followed by the organization. So let's see how we can do that. There is another function what we have that is called as a choose function. Now choose function, I'll just try to show you. Choose function takes, let's say I want to choose 1, and what is my value? 1 is, let's say this, and value 2 is, let's say this. It would not work in this case, so it gives me a value. So what I will do is I will show you how to use a choose function here with combined together with a VLOOKUP. So I will go to VLOOKUP. My lookup value is employee code. I will keep it, you can keep it. What is the table array? Now this table array, we do not have a continuous table array, or we might not have a continuous table array. We might have differential table array. That means my table array is column B and column A in this case. I might not want the other columns. So what I will do is I will use the choose function. In the choose function, I will use an array of 2 columns, and I will specify that my first column is from the employee master, my employee code, and I will fix this, comma, and my second parameter is the second set of values, or second list is my employee name. I get the employee names here. Now this choose function has what? It says choose 2 columns, 1 and 2, where 1 is employee master and 2 is employee master A4. That is, 1 is the employee code and 2 is the employee name. What column index I want to return is 2, and range lookup is 0, and I click on OK. So we get the names of the people. So what we have done in this case is we have tried to break the limitation of the VLOOKUP, where it looks for a value in the first column of the table array. What we are going to do now is we are going to look at the new function in Excel which is available in Office 365 and 2016. Thing is, if you have Office 2013 then you, or any other earlier versions of Office, then you will have to use the VLOOKUP with maybe the choose option and with the match options. There is another option that you can use index and match as well to get replace the VLOOKUP function as well, the way you use that, but it is as good as using VLOOKUP with choose or VLOOKUP with match. So let's come back to the XLOOKUP function. So what I want is, I want the name. So I will show you that XLOOKUP is having the capability of extracting value from the left of the column, that is left of the master column, or the right of the master column, as compared to the VLOOKUP function. So let's go to our Office 365. This is my Office 365 which is open here, and I start looking for my lookup and reference, and in lookup and reference I have my XLOOKUP function. What is the lookup value? Lookup value is employee code. What is the lookup array? That is where I want to look up for. Now I want to look up for employee code, that is there in this. So I can fix this, not an issue, or you can leave it like that as well. Then return array. Now this time you have a flexibility where you specify where to return a value from, like what we were looking at just now in the choose case with VLOOKUP. Here we choose the column name, the name heading, where the column which has the names. I'm fixing it just to do that. So we get the names of the people. So you saw just now that we have used the XLOOKUP function as one value, where we have picked up the value from the left hand side of the search parameter. Let's see how to use it for the right. It's the same thing. So we just go to our lookup functions, we choose our XLOOKUP, lookup value is A2, lookup array is, select the employee code column, so instead, and then F4, and then return array this time will be the SSN code, for example, which is on the right hand side of my thing, and I click on insert and I just simply copy the formula. Something went wrong. Equal to let me just type it again. So it is XLOOKUP, lookup value is employee code, lookup array is and this is my fixed, and return array is the SSN code. Hopefully both the ranges are the same, and we fix it, insert, we get the first value, we should get the other values as well. So we got this. So what we have done in this tutorial, in this lesson, is we have seen what is, so let's look at the differences, certain differences between VLOOKUP and VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP and XLOOKUP. So VLOOKUP will return value only from the right hand side, right column of the search column. HLOOKUP will return value only from the rows below. Available in all versions of Excel. XLOOKUP it returns values from the columns to the left or the right, as we saw just now with the name and the SSN number below or top. Available in 365, Office 365, 2016 and above. For Excel 2013, there are add-ons which are available, which can be downloaded from GitHub. You can download that and you can use it. You can download the add-in and add it into your Excel 2013 and still use the XLOOKUP function, but that's an add-in. I'm not very clear whether it is certified by Microsoft or it is available, but it is available. So what we have seen is, we have understood what is a VLOOKUP function, what is an HLOOKUP function, what is an XLOOKUP, how it will supersede the VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP if in future it does. Limitations we have seen, what are the limitations of the VLOOKUP functions, and we have also seen the methods or the tricks to overcome those. So we have seen the differentiation between VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP and XLOOKUP function. So I hope this video would have given you a lot of insight on the VLOOKUP function, because that's a very crucial function which is used in our day-to-day work and which can be used, and it would have given an insight on the XLOOKUP function as well. So you share the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel for a lot of other insights and a lot of other tips and tricks and a lot of other beneficial things which will make you more effective in using Excel in your day-to-day life. Thank you. And